Hey guys, Alex from Seventh Films back again with Cowboy Bebop. Last time on Cowboy Bebop, we had Bohemian Rhapsody, where the gang was trying to figure out the case of a heist, basically, of money deposited at Space Gates, and they traced it all the way to an old man who actually designed the gates, and but he was screwed over by the Gate Corporation, so he instilled this, or created this plan, so that 50 years later he would get his revenge. However, in the 50 years, he grew old and became senile and forgot what he was doing and just wanted to play some chess, of which he was able to play against Edward, who was a worthy opponent, and then he won. Ed lost, actually, and then he was able to die, and we made no money off of this. Like always, pretty much. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Cowboy Bebop. Here we go. Alrighty, so that was something. So, do we consider this to be Fayes Valentine backstory? Because it is. It also technically isn't, because we don't know who the hell she is. Huh. Alright. I was not expecting that. So let's see. She was age 20 in 2014. So she was born in 94. Adding in the 54 years, plus another 3. So 20 plus 54 is 74. Plus the other 3 makes her 77 years old, technically. But, biologically, without taking out the cryo-freeze, she's only 23. Okay, interesting. We ever know how old Spike is? I don't know. Or Jet, for that matter. Ed's like, what, 10? And Ein's a dog. So. Alright. So, okay, I was not expecting a Fayes Valentine backstory episode, and you know what I kind of like? I like that it's actually not as dramatic as Spike's, because Spike is the big dramatic one. Even Jet's is kind of dramatic, with the whole thing of the woman that left him and stuff like that. But I like this one as kind of the goofier one, where it's just like, no, just meh. So Faye had an accident 54 years ago, and she couldn't be saved by medical technology of the time. So they cryogenically froze her until they could save her. And now, in this present, they do have that technology, which is pretty crazy. But after all of that, she has completely lost her memories. Alright. Well, that's a really interesting thing to do for her backstory. Very get a bit of that, Walt Disney action going on. But yeah, that, I don't know. It's interesting. Man, I will say though, for how much technology has improved in this future, I like that a lot of things still pretty much suck, Like, there is no, universal healthcare or anything in the future. No, you accumulated this debt. Not only did we cryogenically freeze you, which costs a lot of money, but you have to pay the interest for how long you were in there. That's ridiculous, That means, in this future, nothing would be fine for Walter White, Because that's the joke, is that on Breaking Bad, if there was, universal free healthcare, then none of Breaking Bad would have happened because he would have just gotten the healthcare he needed. Instead, everything costs, an arm and a leg of you and 10 of your ancestors to pay for anything medical in the United States. That's why Walter White has to do what he does, And honestly, the same thing is here. Faye has that debt, even though she can chip away at it, she has to do something. But instead of cooking meth, she turned to bounty hunting, And she also... I love that. So, first off, Whitney. First off, she fell in love with Whitney, the lawyer who was gonna make things right. And yeah, it is very much here's a guy who took advantage of a confused woman with no memories, who's also, smoking hot, but still. But yeah, it's like, so he did that, and it's like, they fell in love and stuff like that, and it's like, he's still pretty sleazy. And then, yeah, he faked his own death, and all of that debt that he had was left to her. And I like that. Again, it's like, it's kind of a serious backstory, but it's also incredibly funny too, And which I guess, if anything describes Fayes Valentine to a T, it's some parts incredibly serious, other parts incredibly hilarious, and that is Fayes Valentine to a T, So yeah, so that was interesting that he dies, quote unquote dies. And because of that, she inherits all of his debts. But she doesn't even, it's like, oh, I'm a bounty hunter so I can pay off all those debts. Like, no, she left. She's not paying any of those debts, I don't even know if she's really paying her own debts anymore, She's just out. That's just it, So, but boy, you can really start to understand a bit of Faye in Jupiter Jazz when she was talking to Gren and was like, hey, or he was like, you abandoned them before they could abandon you, she'd rather be a lone wolf because she went through all this, and to her it was heartbreak, to her it was heartbreak of losing, the man she cared about after waking up in this strange time without her memories, So you understand that, but then it still is emphasized here that it's like, well, yeah, and then he also turns out to be a piece of crap, So, even though she will never say it, she does trust the team. She does belong on the Bebop, for lack of a better word. But even still, it's like, yeah, you really understand now where she was coming from in Jupiter Jazz, why she would be adamant about being a lone wolf like that, It's like, I don't need anybody because they'll just die, they'll leave me, and that'll be, I'll be left alone, so I might as well be alone, not get attached to anybody. And because then not only will I have the heartbreak if they leave me, I may also have to deal with their shit as well, So even though this is very comedic, this does definitely tie into what she was saying in Jupiter Jazz, and I like that. That's really good, And then, yeah, and I love how it all ties in perfectly, because at the same day, basically, that the same day that she deals with this, they capture the guy, They capture the guy, and then she steals him to try to get, information, but there's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I love, first off, they have a dogfight with Spike, which is always fun. But I love that they go through all of this, and it's like, oh, who am I? It's like, oh, you really want to know? It's like, yes, just freaking tell me. He's like, why? I don't actually know. And oh, here's the guy, and here's the doctor. It's like, oh, you said he was dead, and you still lied. And it's like, oh, he's my uncle, and I love when it just cuts back to Spike, and he's just so confused. He's just like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on, And it's like, I just love that. It's like, this is really complicated, but at the same time, it's basically telling you, like, don't put too much stock into it. Just, here's her backstory, here's why she's a loner, and now we go, and it's funny. It is funny, it is humorous and at times serious, just like our Fayes Valentine. So yeah, so all that was good, and yeah, everything with Whitney and the doctor and the nurse were really funny and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed all of this. Great episode, interesting to know Fayes' backstory, And that's 3 of it. Even though we don't fully know Spike's backstory, we know some of Spike's backstory. We know Jet's backstory, and now we know Fayes' backstory. I guess that means Ed is next. I don't know. I feel like I don't want any of Ed's backstory because I just want Ed to remain this anomalous, strange girl, you know? Because she is so weird. That it's like, I just want her to remain a question mark. Like, she's just bizarre. She just is Ed, you know? So, oh well. But we'll have to see. But yeah, good episode, and I'm excited to see where we're going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Cowboy Bebop reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.